we'd be super grateful to help us spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty. Some people are better at it than others, including my next guest, who's on the international scene making big waves for liberty in the country, not the state, of Georgia, where it's not morning at all. It's actually late in the evening. Joining me now to talk about international liberty is our new friend, Herman Savo, who's joining us on the program right now. Good morning, Herman. Thank you for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure for me to be your guest and to talk about the things which are important for freedom on the local level, and also to give an example for our international community, for the people who think about freedom from all day long, every day.
For sure, Herman. So thank you very much for being with us today and for fighting for the same principles of economic freedom and personal liberty. Now, you are a member of a political party called Girczhi that actually holds 4 seats in the parliaments of Georgia. You're also a media manager. You're a cryptocurrency enthusiast. You're from the region of South Ossetia, which is currently under Russian military occupation, which we will probably discuss a little bit later in this segment. But would you mind telling us a little bit about this political party and some of the accomplishments that you've been able to make in your country?
We called our party Gírçi, which you could translate in English as a pine cone. Despite that, all the political parties in Georgia are called some big words like Georgia's freedom or Party for People or stuff like that. We just decided to call a simple name, which would be memorable. And after 7 years of our existence, it's a pleasure to see that our friends from international landscape started to notice us and to pay attention to the things we've done, and we've done some remarkable things. I'll talk upcoming about these ideas and things we've managed to achieve in country of Georgia. Georgia is a very conservative country, as you would imagine. It's a post-Soviet country where all the values were degraded by the Soviet Union, and the generation of our parents and grandparents really can't comprehend how things could operate and happen without government's involvement. And it was really tough for us to spread the ideas of economical freedom, personal freedom, self-ownership, and stuff like that. So we try to not to only talk about this stuff, but also to act upon those ideas. And we are the party who managed to legalize the consumption of cannabis in Georgia in 2018, I think. Yes, we actually, I should be in prison right now for 12 years because me with my party members, we violated the law we planted the cannabis in our party office on the New Year's Eve as a public disobedience. It was only 84 members of our party had the courage to do so, but it was big media coverage, and people would really understand that it was crazy to put people in jail for just planting a seed in the ground. So we managed to break the people's perception in that direction, and then we won the constitutional court in Georgia. And right now, in Georgia, you can consume cannabis without any fines. And in Europe, we are the only. I think at that time we were the second country where the consumption was like totally legal. I mean, there are many countries in which it's de facto legal and police doesn't touch you or something like that. But to have it legally free, it was the Georgia, and I think what I don't remember the second country, but it was the second country in Europe. It was the one big deed what we managed to achieve without having any places in parliament. After that, we are also against the conscription mandatory army.
That one I'm really excited because let me set that up if you don't mind, Herman, because I think our listeners are really going to love this. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. I'm speaking to Herman Savo. He is from a political party called the Gírczhi party in he's from South Ossetia in the country of Georgia, and he's joining us now to talk a little bit about the success of his political party, which was founded in 2017, or excuse me, it was founded in 2015, and has now placed 4 members of their party in parliament, which is a very libertarian party there in Georgia. Now, one of the most interesting parts of this story, of this incredible story, is that in 2017, the Girchie Party created what was called the Church of Biblical Freedom. Tell us a little bit about this church and what you all managed to accomplish with it.
It's a story I would tell my grandkids when I'll be really old. It's that kind of story, really. We've been covering many aspects of personal freedom when we were talking about how our society should be structured and stuff like that. And one of the main issues we had is that even right now have a mandatory military conscription where young people from 18 to 27 are obliged to go to so-called army, but in reality, it's not the army. They're just standing as a free labor, as guards on different administrative buildings and prisons and stuff like that. It's kind of legal slavery for 1 year, and we've been fighting to get rid of this system for several years with legislative proposals and some media coverage and stuff like that. But at one point we faced like brick wall that there was nothing else we could do about this. And when we were sitting in the office and discussing what we could do, we just took the law and started to reading about the conscription. And there was written that if you are a priest, you are excluded from military service. And then we had this crazy idea: why don't we establish our own religion? And we went to this public house, it's called, where you make all your papers with the government. And we started to establish the religion. And somehow, after 3 attempts, we managed it. And then we secretly baptized. It's not called baptized. Sorry for my English. What's it called when you turn someone into a priest?
I think I know it's called like you get frock, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a religious person, so I've forgotten a lot of my terminology.
You understand
there.
what I mean.
Yeah. But
So
I know that you're
made
looking for. Probably our live stream listeners will be able to send it in to us, perhaps. But continue, please.
Okay. Yeah, so we made one of young men a priest. He was obliged to go to the mandatory army, and he went there with our certificate that he's a priest. And they were really confused, but they couldn't do anything. And after that, we had an avalanche of young people coming to our office and becoming priests. And right now, we issued about 50,000 certificates. And you have to imagine the scale of this. Georgia, the Republic of Georgia, is about 3.7 million population. And having 50,000 priests, it's like, for example, Georgia's main religion is Orthodox Church, Orthodox Christianity, and they have 4,000 priests. So we are like 12, 13 times bigger church in terms of priests than our country's main religion.
That is
everybody was pissed.
That is quite funny.
Everybody was pissed.
Herman, congratulations to you for that. The word that we were looking for, thanks to all of our friends over in the live stream, is ordained. You become ordained as a priest. That is the word.
Yes.
I didn't know it either, and English is my first language. Yeah. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm your host, Austin Peterson. I'm having a fascinating conversation with our friend from Georgia, the country, not the state, of Georgia, and his name is Herman Savo. He's talking to us now as a member of the political parliament, one of 4 members of his political party that are in parliament in the state of Georgia, which is called the Girchie Party, a very libertarian party that has been able to rack up some incredible accomplishments and major wins for liberty, which is absolutely fascinating. We're learning so much today from Herman. Hopefully the libertarians in the United States could take a page out of his playbook. certainly our Libertarian Party here in the United States, Herman, has not been as successful as yours. So we definitely give you a congratulations to you on that one. I'd like to move the
Thank
subject
you.
on a little bit here, Herman, and ask you if you're comfortable with talking about the topic that I breached a little bit earlier, the fact that you're under Russian military occupation. So I assume that
Yeah.
if you're conscripted there in Georgia, then you're required to join the Russian military. Is that correct?
Oh no, it's a little bit misunderstanding of the situation. A part of two regions of Georgia is occupied by Russia. Um, there was a war between Georgia and Russia in 2008. It was a similar scenario what is happening in Ukraine and what happened in Ukraine in 2014. And right now, these two regions are occupied by Russia, but the rest of the 80% of Georgia is still under the Georgian government. So when you're drafted, you will serve in Georgia's military, not Russia's military. Thanks God.
Yes, I imagine so. I mean,
That's,
do you have an opinion on the current conflict between Ukraine and Russia?
um, Russia. Russia was heading toward this scenario for decades. The 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 structure of ruling, which was in Soviet time when everybody was under one man and whoever was on top, he was like a tsar. It was different names, but still it was like a tsar. It was like a single ruler for the whole country. And after a breakup of the Soviet Union, Russia didn't reorganize their institutions, their way of the way the government is structured. And right now, when even if very good person would appear on the top of that pyramid, uh, that kind of power will corrupt everybody. And can you imagine that when Putin became, and he's a former KGB spy, when he became a ruler of such a huge country and corruption was high, everything was leading to the scenarios where to have the power in his hands, he needs some uh, enemy outside of the state, and that kind of enemy right now is West for Russian propaganda. And to fight that enemy, you need small wars. And one of there was like 3 wars with Georgia with the same scenario. And the next step was Ukraine. And if the international community will let this slide to Putin's hands, it will just go on, and at some point the front line will be way deeper in the middle of the Europe, or maybe closer to US, or it will be just unpredictable. So taming the current situation, I, I understand that from the libertarian point of view, spending your taxpayers' money on some country far away from you, it's like not a good thing. But to understand the perspective that it's a it's a money spent on prevention of the future crazy scenarios, which would be way more closer to even US or some other countries which are involved in this conflict in different ways. I think I think the only way out the free world can this let this war end is somehow taming the Putin's will to establish the areas of his influence. Otherwise, it will be just unpredictable scenario for the future for us, because we are close neighbors, and for you also.
Yeah, certainly it makes a lot of sense. We're speaking to Herman Savo, who is joining us now live from the state of Georgia. Herman, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners here on the Wake Up America show before we let you go today, sir?
I'll just say that freedom is not a state. Freedom is a direction, and also freedom is not granted. Freedom is to fight every day, all day, every day. And maybe we will not find the perfect solutions for the problems we are facing today, but at least we know that we have a morally structured position on almost every aspect of our life, and we when we have this morality with us, we know that we are right in those situations, and we managed to win the small wars here in Georgia with the understanding that the idea is the most important part of our war, and you can't really win against good logical and moral ideas. So we made our small victories here, and we want to share these victories with you. And thank you for this opportunity. And maybe some little less successful countries who don't have such a good representatives in the as a representative of the fighters of the freedom. Maybe they will have an example from us, and if there will be any, if there will be people or organization who will be willing to get more information from us, how we managed to win our small wars here, we'll be very glad to share all the information. Thank you again for your time, and I wish you and your listeners freedom.
Absolutely amazing. Herman Savo from the country of Georgia. You are an inspiration, sir. We need to package up whatever it is that you have and bring it here to the United States. Maybe we need to get you here for a conference to come and speak here at a libertarian conference. Herman, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for defending liberty, sir. We appreciate you very much. Keep up the good fight, sir. We hope to hear from you again very soon.
Thanks.